My beloved child, there is a stirring in the unseen realm right now, and the heavens are moving with a speed that only those aligned in the spirit can sense. Something extraordinary, something rare, something that only happens in certain prophetic cycles is making its way toward you. And Archangel Michael is standing at the threshold of your life, declaring with clarity a divine transfer of favor. Money and recognition is already in motion, but only the ones who rise immediately will receive what is meant for them before it shifts into another's hands. Listen closely, because this moment is unlike the ordinary moments of your journey. This is a threshold moment, a spiritual tipping point, where your name is being whispered in heavenly courts and your destiny is being weighed according to your response. The blessing is prepared. The door is open. The oil is warm. But the timing is razor thin. Right now, in the atmosphere surrounding you, the angels assigned to your purpose are realigning pathways that were blocked, rearranging circumstances that once felt impossible, and placing your future exactly where God intended it from the beginning. This is not random. This is not coincidence. This is heavenly strategy, a recalibration of your destiny. And Archangel Michael is not merely observing it. He is actively participating in it. I see him releasing a sword of illumination, cutting away every delay, every spiritual fog, every confusion that has attempted to convince you that your season was paused. No, my child, your season is here. Heaven has moved into acceleration mode. But with acceleration comes responsibility, and with responsibility comes urgency. Archangel Michael says there is a divine transfer unfolding, not later, not someday, not eventually, right now. Transfer of favor. Transfer of financial grace, transfer of recognition, influence, and open doors. This is the kind of transfer that lifts a person from the background to the forefront, from lack into overflow, from overlooked to unusually celebrated. It is the shift that brings clarity, honor, and elevation at a supernatural speed. But here is the part many will miss. Transfers in the spiritual realm always seek a vessel, a ready vessel, a responsive vessel, a vessel that says yes with urgency, not hesitation, because hesitation allows the blessing to move on. And Archangel Michael made it clear, only those who respond immediately will receive it before the blessing switches hands. Why? Because heaven operates by movement, not by stagnation. When God releases a wave, it keeps flowing until it finds the one who steps into it. If one soul hesitates, the blessing simply continues its journey to the next prepared heart. There is somebody right now who has been praying for breakthrough, crying out for a shift, waiting for a sign. And whether you realize it or not, this moment, right here, is the sign they were waiting for. Heaven is attempting to place something in your hands that is far bigger than anything you have lost, feared, or hoped for. But response determines possession. Feel this carefully. There is joy being prepared for your life. Not the basic kind, not the temporary kind, but the kind that transforms an entire season. The kind that restores what you thought was gone forever. The kind that makes others look at you and say, surely, God's hand is on them. Your name is being pushed into rooms you have not entered yet. Opportunities that were previously unreachable are now being softened toward you. People who once ignored your potential will now feel drawn to recognize you. And financial flow, the kind that aligns perfectly with purpose, is being rerouted so it reaches your hands at the exact moment you need it. Well, hear this with your spirit. The transfer is in motion, not on hold. The blessing is moving, not waiting. The opportunity is circulating, not stationary. Heaven is looking for your immediate yes, your immediate alignment, your immediate faith. Archangel Michael says your readiness is the key that unlocks your portion. He is guarding the transfer, protecting it, guiding it, but he cannot force you to step into what God is offering. The realm of blessing operates by invitation, not coercion. And my child, this is that invitation. This is not the hour to scroll away, to take this lightly, or to assume the blessing will come later. No. This is the moment where your destiny is being called by name, and your spirit is being summoned to respond before the blessing passes by. There is a river flowing, a river that carries divine favor, divine money, divine recognition. It is flowing right beside you. Archangel Michael is standing at its banks, holding out his hand, saying, "Move now. Step now. Respond now." What you do in this moment determines what heaven releases next. And trust me, you do not want to miss what is about to be revealed in the next unfolding. Something major is approaching. Something hidden is about to surface. Something destined for you is getting closer. Hold on. The next revelation will shake you. Type "I step into my transfer" in the comments if this message touches your spirit. Blessing code 4411 is activated for the responsive heart. Precious soul, there is a stirring tonight that goes deeper than mere encouragement. This is not motivation. This is not comfort. This is divine intelligence moving toward you, revealing why heaven has accelerated the blessing prepared for your life. Archangel Michael stands watch at the gates of your destiny, and he is whispering a truth that only those with awakened spirits will understand. Your life has reached a prophetic intersection, a crossing point where delay is being judged and destiny is being defended. For too long, unseen forces attempted to cloud your vision, to distract your focus, to keep you tied to emotional residue that had nothing to offer your tomorrow. But in this hour, heaven has begun cutting through all the noise that once made your path feel blurred. Archangel Michael is clearing the air around your name. He is releasing a fresh wind that is separating the old cycle from the new one, and the difference between the two is night and day. You may not realize it yet, but there is a shift happening in the spiritual realm that is directly connected to your next blessing. God did not prepare joy for you by accident. He did not prepare favor and financial elevation out of routine. He prepared them because your life has reached a divine threshold, a place where heaven cannot allow the enemy to keep you hidden any longer. Your season of invisibility is being undone. Your season of silence is being reversed. And your season of being overlooked is being shattered like thin glass under the weight of God's hand. Archangel Michael says your name is being lifted. Not only lifted, but highlighted. Not only highlighted, but sealed in heavenly ink so that the doors meant for you cannot be denied any longer. What once seemed difficult will now unfold effortlessly. What once resisted you will now respond to you. And what once rejected you will begin to seek you. Because when heaven marks a person for a divine transfer, everything attached to their destiny begins to turn in their favor. But this blessing, this transfer, this sudden shift is not just a reward. It is a realignment. It is heaven correcting the imbalance that life created around you. There were opportunities you should have received earlier. There were breakthroughs that were delayed by the weight of people who mishandled you. There were open doors that were blocked by the jealousy of those who refused to see your worth. But the divine transfer being prepared for you now is heaven's way of saying, enough. God is restoring you. Not partially. Not slowly. But fully and swiftly. You are entering a moment where the very things that once intimidated you will now bow to you. The very areas where you once struggled will now become the areas where you excel. The very dreams you shelved away will begin breathing again. And the joy that was once drained from your spirit will be poured back in like rivers overflowing their boundaries. Archangel Michael is placing a shield of protection around your elevation. He knows that when blessings come quickly, distractions increase. He knows that when favor arrives suddenly, not everyone around you will celebrate. He knows that when God lifts you, some hearts respond with envy instead of honor. And so he stands guard, ensuring that the transfer heading toward you reaches your hands untouched, untainted, uncontaminated. This is why heaven requires immediate response from you. Delay invites interference. Hesitation invites spiritual leakage. But readiness, obedience, and willingness activate acceleration. Heaven does not rush unless something important is at stake. And right now, something valuable with your name on it is approaching fast. Feel the intensity of this moment. You are closer than you think. Closer to the opportunity. Closer to the financial release. Closer to the recognition that will reposition your entire life. There is a reason your spirit feels alert, like something is moving behind the scenes. It is because it is. Your heart knows a shift is near. Your intuition feels the change. Your soul senses that heaven is preparing to lift you. And this tug you feel, this pull in your spirit, is Archangel Michael making sure you do not miss the moment reserved specifically for you. Your breakthrough is not waiting for next year. It is not waiting for another season. It is not waiting for ideal circumstances. It is ready now. The transfer is already prepared. And even now, angels are arranging the final details of what is coming your way. But understand this deeply. A divine transfer does not search for the smartest, or the wealthiest, or the strongest, or the most connected. It seeks the one who is spiritually awake enough to respond. Heaven is not asking for perfection. It is asking for alignment. It is asking for openness. It is asking for a heart that says, I am ready for what God has prepared. And my child, you are ready. You are more prepared than you realize. The battles you fought were not in vain. The tears you cried were not ignored. The silence you endured was not wasted. Every moment shaped you for this one. Before this blessing reaches your hands, something even greater must be revealed. What you are about to hear next will explain why heaven chose this moment, and not the moments before it. Wait for it, because the revelation that follows will open your understanding in a way you have never experienced. Type I align with heaven's timing in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 5588 is now released over those who respond with faith. Dearest one, there's a moment in every destiny where heaven pauses, not to delay, but to observe the condition of the heart that is being lifted. You are in that moment, right now. The atmosphere around your life is shifting with a precision that only divine orchestration can produce. Archangel Michael stands on assignment beside you, and he is revealing something sacred, something powerful, something that explains why your blessing had to be sealed, protected, and released at this exact time and not a minute earlier. For months, even years, the enemy made subtle attempts to sabotage the path toward your elevation. Distractions rose. Emotional storms formed. Unexpected losses drained your strength. People you trusted mishandled your vulnerability. And yet, despite all of this, you continued forward. You did not collapse. You did not surrender your calling. You did not abandon the promise God whispered over your life. And heaven took note of your endurance. The divine transfer that is being prepared for your life is not random. It is not some scattered blessing. It is heaven repaying the price of your perseverance. There were moments you didn't even realize how close you came to breakthrough, moments where the enemy tried to intercept what was yours. But the reason the blessing did not reach the wrong hands is because Archangel Michael was actively defending it, shielding it with spiritual authority that cannot be overridden. Heaven waited for the moment when your character, your maturity, your discernment, and your spiritual awareness aligned perfectly. And now that alignment has formed, the transfer has begun. Favor is moving toward you. Money is shifting toward you. Recognition is traveling toward you at a supernatural speed. Your spirit senses it because your name has already been spoken in places you haven't entered yet. But here is the revelation that many people miss. When a divine transfer is released, the spiritual realm becomes extremely sensitive. Every decision, every thought, every response carries weight. Heaven is watching to see who is spiritually awake enough to receive what God is placing before them. The blessing is prepared, the doors are unlocked, the path is clear, but only those who respond immediately, those who move when heaven moves, will catch what is passing through the atmosphere. Archangel Michael says the blessing is moving quickly because it was delayed for too long. There were seasons when others were promoted ahead of you, even though your heart was pure. There were moments when less qualified people received opportunities that should have been yours. There were times when you felt unseen and unchosen, even though God had already chosen you from the beginning. This transfer is God restoring the balance. It is heaven putting your name back into the rightful position. It is the divine correction of every injustice that once held you down. And the speed of this blessing is intentional. It is heaven making up for lost time. Not one piece of favor will be wasted. Not one opportunity will be mishandled. Not one blessing will fall into the wrong hands. Everything that belongs to you will now move toward you with accuracy. Every spiritual blessing that was stalled will now break through. Every open door that was locked will now swing wide. There is an urgency in the spirit because this blessing carries generational impact. It will not only change your current season, it will alter the seasons of everyone connected to your destiny. Your family line will feel the effects. Your future will reflect the shift. Your name will carry new weight, new authority, new grace. But hear this deeply. A divine transfer requires a divine response. If heaven moves and you stand still, the blessing will search for a ready vessel. Heaven does not force abundance upon someone who is spiritually asleep. And this is why Archangel Michael is sounding the alarm, calling your spirit to awaken, to rise, to respond without hesitation. You are standing at the doorway of a life-changing moment. Not by accident, not by coincidence, but by divine design. Everything you lost, everything that was withheld, everything that fell apart, heaven is preparing to restore it in multiplied form. The transfer is already unfolding, but your response determines whether it lands in your hands or moves past you. Hold your spirit steady, because what comes next is the turning point. The next revelation will expose why your story could not end in struggle, why heaven protected your promise, and why your name is being lifted now. You are about to understand the deeper purpose behind this divine transfer. Stay with this message, because the next unfolding is about to open your eyes in a way that will shift your faith forever. Wait for it, because the next unveiling is powerful. Now, before we move ahead, like this message, share it, comment below, hype this video, and subscribe so the word continues reaching hearts that need it. Type "I receive my heavenly portion" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Blessing Ode 9,933 is now released over those who honor the moment. Beloved, as this prophetic word moves through your spirit, I want to speak directly to those who feel the weight of God tugging on their heart. The same way heaven is preparing a divine transfer for your life, this mission is called to transfer light, truth, and deliverance into thousands of souls who are searching for hope. When you pour into this work through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into a harvest of transformed lives. God said that those who water others will themselves be watered, and this is your moment to step into that living promise. I am speaking this as a direct invitation. Let your giving become your prophetic response, an act that tells heaven you are aligned, awake, and ready for overflow. The theme of this message is urgency, and your support today becomes a seed of acceleration in your own life. As you sow, I declare that God will multiply your obedience with favor that cannot be reversed and opportunities that cannot be blocked. Step into the flow. Release your seed. Move with heaven's movement. Beloved heart, there is a sacred heaviness in the atmosphere around you right now. Not the heaviness of burden, but the weight of glory that signals something profound. Heaven has begun the rearrangement of your destiny map. This is why your spirit feels stirred, why your thoughts feel unsettled in a holy way, why you sense that something is changing even before your eyes can see it. Archangel Michael has stepped forward again, and he is revealing a truth that is both powerful and deeply personal. The divine transfer being released over your life is not just about blessing, it is about positioning. There are moments when heaven blesses you where you are. But there are other moments, rare moments, when heaven shifts the environment around you so the blessing can land without interference. You are in the second category. God is not just sending something to you. He is moving you into the space where your blessing can breathe, grow, multiply, and remain protected. This is why certain relationships have suddenly felt distant. This is why certain opportunities that once looked promising suddenly collapse. This is why certain rooms you used to fit in now feel spiritually tight and uncomfortable. You were not rejected. You were relocated. Heaven moved you silently because the divine transfer arriving in your life requires a different atmosphere than the one you were standing in. Archangel Michael says the spiritual air around you is being purified. The people who once drained your energy can no longer access the new version of you that God is raising. There is a separation happening, not to isolate you, but to elevate you. And elevation always comes with quiet adjustments. You may not always understand them at first, but heaven sees what you cannot. God is removing the voices that would have discouraged your blessing. He is removing the hands that would have mishandled your blessing. He is removing the eyes that would have envied your blessing. That is why the transfer is being sealed so tightly. Heaven knows the value of what is coming your way. This blessing is not temporary, it is foundational. It will shift the structure of your life. It will rebuild areas that were broken. It will restore pieces of your identity that were shaken. It will elevate you into a position where influence, honor, and financial increase flow from you effortlessly. But here is the truth the Spirit wants you to grasp. Before a divine transfer touches your hands, heaven must ensure your heart is no longer tied to the places where your blessing cannot survive. A blessing in the wrong environment cannot grow. Favor surrounded by jealousy becomes contaminated. Money surrounded by manipulators becomes exploited. Recognition surrounded by wrong people becomes dangerous. This is why heaven is being intentional, precise, protective. This is why Archangel Michael is guarding your transition with such seriousness. This is why your life feels like it's in motion even when you haven't moved physically. There is a spiritual repositioning happening, and it is preparing you for something you have prayed for, cried for, and waited for longer than you realized. You see, divine transfers happen when heaven says, enough. Enough delay. Enough resistance. Enough spiritual theft. Enough dishonor. Heaven has declared that what belongs to you must be placed in your hands before the blessing shifts into another vessel. This is why your spirit feels the urgency. This is why your heart feels the call to remain attentive, to remain awake, to remain responsive. Heaven is watching your readiness, and your readiness is unlocking acceleration. You may have wondered why God did not release this blessing earlier. You may have questioned why the promises over your life seemed to take longer than expected. But the truth is simple. Heaven was waiting for the distractions around you to lose their authority. Heaven was waiting for your heart to outgrow the places that could not hold your blessing. Heaven was waiting for the timing when your spirit could carry what your past self was not ready for. Now you are ready. Now you are aligned. Now you can receive without losing yourself. Archangel Michael says there is joy attached to this transfer, the kind of joy that restores years, not moments. The kind of joy that lifts burdens you forgot you were carrying. The kind of joy that makes you look back and say, now I understand why everything had to happen the way it did. This is joy that transforms your emotional landscape. Joy that replaces exhaustion with peace. Joy that resets your future. And this joy is arriving with favor, financial release, and recognition all woven together like a divine tapestry. Heaven is not giving you one blessing. It is giving you a cluster of blessings. But the most powerful part of this phase is yet to be revealed. Heaven is preparing to show you the deeper reason you were chosen for this transfer, the hidden purpose behind the urgency, the spiritual impact your elevation will have beyond your personal life. What comes next will not only clarify the blessing, it will awaken your purpose with electrifying clarity. Stay close, because the next revelation is going to unlock something inside you that has been dormant for years. Do not drift away. This unfolding is about to intensify. Type "I receive my divine realignment" in the comments if this message speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 7744 is released upon those who embrace the shift. Child of divine promise, there is a holy silence resting over your spirit right now. The kind of silence that does not come from emptiness, but from the weight of something sacred being prepared for revelation. In this quietness, heaven is working. In this stillness, the Spirit is aligning the next chapter of your destiny. And Archangel Michael is standing guard, ensuring that what is unfolding for you cannot be interrupted, sabotaged, or redirected by anything that once stood against you. The divine transfer moving toward your life is not ordinary. It is not common. It is not something that appears for just anyone. This type of transfer is rare because it carries a spiritual assignment that stretches far beyond personal comfort. Heaven releases this kind of blessing only when a person is entering a new mantle, a new authority, a new season of responsibility. You are stepping into that moment now. For a long time, your life seemed to operate in cycles, moments of breakthrough followed by unexpected resistance, times of hope followed by setbacks you never saw coming. You wondered why your progress felt unstable, why blessings slipped through your fingers just when you felt closest to victory. But the reason is now being made clear in the spirit. Your life was being prepared for something long-lasting, not momentary. Heaven was not building a temporary blessing. It was building a permanent transformation. This is why Archangel Michael has been present so strongly. His assignment is not simply to protect. His assignment is to escort you into the phase of your life where nothing and no one can pull you backward anymore. He is severing spiritual attachments that once drained your joy. He is breaking invisible cords that once held your progress hostage. He is removing the shadows that followed you from season to season. For the divine transfer to land, heaven must secure the environment surrounding your spirit. And that is exactly what is happening right now. But there is a deeper truth, one that heaven is ready to show you. The joy attached to this transfer is not only emotional, it is strategic. This joy is meant to lift your spiritual frequency so that you can stand in the places God is elevating you into. Favor brings weight. Recognition brings pressure. Financial increase brings responsibility. And without joy, these blessings can feel overwhelming. That is why heaven is sending joy first, not as a bonus, but as spiritual preparation for what is being placed into your hands. You have fought battles that drained your joy so severely that at times you forgot what genuine happiness felt like. You were surrounded by people who celebrated your downfall, but stayed silent in your victories. You were placed in situations where you had to pretend to be strong, even when no one saw your tears. Yet through all of that, heaven was collecting your endurance, gathering every sacrifice, every prayer, every moment you pushed forward when everything in you felt tired. Joy is returning to your life not because everything is perfect, but because heaven is perfecting everything concerning you. That joy is part of the divine transfer. It is the foundation upon which your financial blessing, your favor, and your recognition will rest. Without this joy, the blessing would not be complete. Archangel Michael says you are entering a season where joy will flow without permission. It will rise in your spirit unexpectedly. It will strengthen you in ways you forgot were possible. This joy will make room for the blessing to sit on your life without crushing you. It will lift you above the noise, above the opinions, above the doubts of others. And here is the profound part. The blessing being transferred to you is meant to shift not just your life, but the lives of those who will be touched by your obedience. This transfer is connected to your voice, your influence, your purpose. Heaven is not just giving you resources. Heaven is giving you reach. When favor arrives, people listen. When financial increase arrives, platforms open. When recognition arrives, influence expands. Heaven is preparing you to carry something bigger than yourself. That is why the urgency is so strong. That is why Archangel Michael spoke so clearly. Only those who respond immediately will receive this before it shifts into another vessel. Heaven is searching for the responsive heart, the awakened spirit, the one who recognizes that this moment is divine and not accidental. Every blessing you thought was lost is returning. Every opportunity you thought expired is resurfacing. Every seed you planted in silence is about to produce visible fruit. But before the next layer is revealed, heaven wants your spirit anchored. This is a critical moment in your journey. You are stepping into territory the enemy hoped you would never reach. And what comes next will explain why the delay was actually protection, why the waiting was training, and why the divine transfer had to arrive in this exact season of your life. Stay with this unfolding. The most powerful revelation is moving toward you even now. Something is about to be exposed, not to destroy you, but to free you. And once you hear it, you will never question your worth again. Trust me, you will want to hear what comes next. Type "I stand ready for my transfer" in the comments if this speaks deeply. Blessing code 2210 is now released over all who embrace this moment with faith. Chosen soul, there is a magnificent unveiling happening right now in the realm of the spirit, and if you feel a strange pull in your heart, it is because the heavens are revealing what was once hidden from you. This moment is not an accident. It is the continuation of a holy sequence. Archangel Michael stands closer than before, carrying a message that reaches into the deepest layers of your story. The divine transfer approaching your life is not only about receiving, it is about reclaiming. There were blessings meant for you that never reached your hands. Opportunities that were tied to your name, but somehow slipped into the grasp of the wrong people. Seasons where you were the one sowing, yet others reaped what you cultivated. Times when your kindness, your strength, your consistency, and your loyalty were taken advantage of. The heavens recorded every bit of it. Not one injustice escaped God's sight. not when disappointment went unnoticed. And now heaven has declared that the scales must be balanced. This transfer is heaven's response to everything that was taken from you, both spiritually and emotionally. It is heaven's answer to the betrayals, the delays, the losses that left you feeling empty at moments you were supposed to rise. There is restoration in this transfer, but not the basic kind you might expect. This is restoration in abundance, restoration multiplied, restoration heightened, restoration dripping with divine justice. Archangel Michael says the enemy touched too much. He interfered in too many areas. He attempted to silence your voice, dim your confidence, and weaken your spirit. But heaven has decided that you will rise above every attack with double honor. And not just rise. Rise publicly, visibly, unmistakably. Your season of being hidden for survival is over. The season of being revealed for purpose has begun. But listen carefully, there is a reason heaven waited until now to release this level of blessing. You had to grow into it. You had to outlive the people who misunderstood your calling. You had to outlast the circumstances that attempted to break your faith. You had to reach a point where your hands were steady enough to hold what God had prepared. Had the blessing come earlier, you might have shared it with the wrong people. You might have trusted the wrong voices. You might have placed your destiny in hands that did not know how to honor it. That is why heaven moved slowly at first. It was protecting you from premature release. But now that your spirit has matured, now that your discernment has sharpened, now that your heart has been refined, heaven is releasing the transfer at full speed. What is coming toward you is not simply favor, it is vindication. Not simply money, it is recovery. Not simply recognition, it is elevation. Everything that once worked against you is losing its power right now. Every spiritual weight that slowed your progress is being cut off. Every delay that once formed a barrier is dissolving. There is a fresh wind blowing around your destiny, and Archangel Michael is leading it. He has been assigned to clear the final obstacles before your blessing arrives. And here is what the Spirit reveals now. The divine transfer is not a single event. It is a sequence, a wave, a progression of blessings arriving one after another. Once you receive the first portion, joy, your spirit will be lifted into the frequency needed to receive the second. Then the next. Then the next. Heaven is organizing your life the way a master builder organizes a foundation, layer by layer, intentionally, precisely, beautifully. But before the transfer completes, heaven must reveal something to you. Something important. Something you have felt in your spirit but could not articulate. The reason the blessing requires immediate response is because the transfer is time-sensitive. Heaven is moving pieces quickly, aligning people, rearranging opportunities, opening spaces that will not remain open indefinitely. There is someone whose blessing is intertwined with your obedience. Heaven has routed favor toward your life, but if you pause too long, the blessing simply continues its movement until it finds another ready vessel. This is not punishment. It is spiritual momentum. Heaven flows. It does not wait. Archangel Michael urges you. This is your moment to respond, to activate, to step in, to align. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. Because now is when heaven is listening for your yes. Now is when the windows are open. Now is when the angels are positioned. Now is when your name is being lifted. The shift happening around you is not just spiritual, it will manifest in your daily life. You will notice conversations change. You will notice opportunities appear unexpectedly. You will notice people who once ignored you suddenly paying attention. This is the ripple effect of divine recognition. Heaven is speaking your name in places your feet have not touched yet. And the most profound part, the transfer arriving now is tied to a calling bigger than your comfort. It will position you to influence lives, change atmospheres, and carry light into places that were once dark. This blessing has a purpose, and that purpose will be revealed soon, sooner than you imagine. But before that revelation comes forth, heaven wants your spirit anchor. Something even deeper is about to be unveiled, something that will connect every part of your journey and open your understanding in a new way. Hold steady. The next moment will not only reveal your purpose, but will expose why the enemy fought you so intensely. Trust me, you do not want to miss what comes next. Type "I claim my heavenly justice" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Blessing Ode 3407 is now released over those who stand in divine readiness. Beloved soul, there is a holy stirring rising within you right now, and it is not coming from emotion, it is coming from revelation. Heaven is drawing you closer, pulling you into the deeper layers of why this divine transfer is being released with such urgency. Archangel Michael steps forward again, his presence steady, his message direct. What is coming into your life carries generational weight, and the enemy knew it long before you did. This is why the warfare felt personal. This is why the delays felt strategic. This is why the resistance seemed relentless. It was never random. It was targeted because of what you carry. Heaven is now ready to show you a truth that will make every past battle suddenly make sense. You were never fighting for survival. You were fighting for inheritance. You were never fighting to stay afloat. You were fighting to keep hold of something heaven planned for you before you were born. Every attack you endured had one purpose: to make you give up before the transfer arrived. But you didn't. You endured. You pushed through storms that would have broken others. You kept believing even when hope felt thin. Heaven saw that. This is why the release happening now is so powerful. Blessings do not simply fall. They shift atmospheres. They break cycles. They lift families. They reroute futures. The blessing being released into your life carries the ability to reset everything connected to your name. It is not small. It is not subtle. It is not quiet. It is a divine relocation of spiritual wealth, honor, and breakthrough. Archangel Michael says your season of suffering was not punishment. It was proof. Proof that your spirit could be trusted with abundance. Proof that your faith could outlast the storm. Proof that your heart could handle elevation without becoming corrupted. Everything you went through refined you into the vessel heaven can now pour into without fear of spillage or waste. Before heaven releases a generational blessing, it tests the foundation. Not to harm you, but to secure you. And now your foundation is strong. Your character is strengthened. Your discernment is awakened. Your spirit is stable. This is why the transfer is happening now. But the Spirit reveals something deeper. The joy being prepared for you is not just emotional. It is a sign. Joy is the indicator of heavenly approval. When heaven lifts a person, joy is the first fruit that touches their spirit. That joy restores what pain tried to steal. It returns your laughter. It restores your confidence. It reawakens your dreams. Heaven sends joy ahead of the blessing because joy strengthens you to carry what's coming next. And what comes next is greater than you imagine. Money will come. Favor will come. Recognition will come. But the real transformation is internal. You are stepping into a version of yourself you have never met before. A version with clarity. A version with authority. A version with courage. A version aligned with heaven's blueprint. The enemy tried to keep you connected to the old version of you, the tired version, the wounded version, the doubtful version. But heaven has declared a new identity over your life, and that identity is what this transfer is designed to activate. Archangel Michael says your identity has been upgraded in the spirit, and now the physical world must catch up. Opportunities will align with your new identity. Financial flow will align with your new identity. Recognition will align with your new identity. But heaven is not done yet. There is another layer unfolding. Something hidden is about to surface. Something God has kept protected until you were strong enough to hear it. This next revelation ties together your past, your pain, and your purpose. And when you hear it, you will understand why heaven could not release certain blessings until now. There is a generational pattern that ends with you. You were chosen as the one who breaks cycles, who carries the blessing forward, who shifts the spiritual inheritance of your entire lineage. That is why this transfer is so essential. It is more than personal. It is prophetic. Heaven is preparing to reveal the assignment attached to the blessing. Once you understand the assignment, clarity will flood your spirit. Everything will align. Your calling, your relationships, your finances, your path. And you will walk with an authority you never possessed before. But before that revelation is released, heaven is urging you to stay spiritually alert. A sleepy spirit misses divine timing. A distracted heart misses divine signals. A weary mind misses divine opportunity. Archangel Michael is guarding your focus, because heaven does not want you to miss the moment prepared for you. What is coming next is heavy with truth, beautiful truth, freeing truth, destiny-shaping truth. Stay close to this unfolding, because the next revelation will not only strengthen your faith, it will light a fire in you that has been waiting years to ignite. Trust me, you will not want to drift away now. The next moment is sacred. Type "I receive what heaven has reserved for me" in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Blessing ode 6621 is now released upon all who remain spiritually awake and aligned. Beloved vessel of light, there is a holy pulse in the spirit right now, a rhythmic pull drawing you toward the revelation heaven has been waiting to uncover. The atmosphere around your life is charged, almost trembling, because you are approaching the moment where everything shifts into clarity. Archangel Michael stands in full authority, and his message carries a weight that presses deep into your soul. What is coming next is the true reason the divine transfer is urgent, time-sensitive, and destined only for those who respond without hesitation. Your life is not just entering a new season, you are entering a new spiritual identity. An identity heaven has been cultivating silently, patiently, intentionally. But before this identity could emerge, your old season had to break apart. That breaking was painful. It stripped away your securities, your routines, your comfort zones. But it was necessary. Heaven could not elevate you while you were still tied to people, places, and patterns that would have suffocated the blessing. Archangel Michael reveals that you have crossed the threshold where heaven no longer sees you as who you were, but as who you are becoming. And this is why the transfer is about more than money, more than favor, more than recognition. It is about spiritual placement. You are being positioned into a role that carries responsibility, influence, and heavenly endorsement. A role that aligns with your soul, your purpose, and the blueprint God wrote for your life long before you ever took form. But here is the deeper truth, one most people never discern. Elevation always exposes what was hidden. Not to embarrass you, but to free you. Not to shame you, but to prepare you. Heaven is about to reveal the true reason the enemy attacked you so fiercely. It was never because of your past. It was always because of your future. Your destiny holds the potential to influence lives, shift atmospheres, bring healing, carry wisdom, and create impact in places you have not yet stepped into. You carry a spiritual signature, a presence, a calling, a vibration that the enemy recognized long before you understood it yourself. And because of that, every trap set against you had one goal: to keep you from rising. But every attack failed, not because you were strong, but because heaven was stronger. Now the divine transfer is arriving as heaven's declaration. You survived the testing. You passed the proving. You endured the stripping. Now rise into the fullness of who you are. This transfer is not random energy. It is targeted. It is precise. It is a sign. Heaven is pouring into your life what was reserved exclusively for you. No one else can receive it. No one else can claim it. No one else can replace you. The urgency exists because heaven is moving quickly and you must move with it. Archangel Michael shows that angels have been positioned at different points of your timeline, clearing blockages you didn't know were there, removing obstacles you didn't see, redirecting attacks that were scheduled against you. Every part of this transfer was protected for this exact moment. Heaven waited for your spirit to stabilize, because this blessing cannot be carried by someone unsure of who they are. Now you are beginning to step into boldness, into clarity, into spiritual maturity. And that is why heaven says, release the blessing now. The joy being prepared for you will restore your emotional balance. The favor being prepared for you will open doors that once felt permanently closed. The financial grace being prepared for you will give you the freedom to operate in your purpose without fear. And the recognition coming your way will place your name in circles where your voice will matter. But what heaven needs you to understand is this: when the blessing arrives, you cannot shrink. You cannot second-guess yourself. You cannot dim your light to make others comfortable. You cannot return to the old version of you just because it feels familiar. Elevation requires your full presence. Transfer requires your full agreement. Blessing requires your full identity. This is why heaven is refining your inner world before releasing the outer blessing. Heaven is preparing you to match the magnitude of what is coming. You cannot carry a generational blessing with a mindset shaped by survival. Your faith must expand. Your confidence must rise. Your spirit must step forward. And even now, heaven is whispering a truth. Someone connected to your destiny is about to recognize your value. Someone with authority is about to open a door with your name on it. Someone assigned to help you rise is about to appear. This is the beginning of recognition, the kind that does not fade. Before we continue, remain close, remain focused, remain awake. The revelation that comes next will strike your spirit with such clarity that you will finally see why heaven chose you for this transfer. You will not want to miss what is unfolding next. It is one of the most powerful moments of this entire revelation. Like this message, share it, comment below, hype this video, and subscribe so the word continues flowing into every soul heaven intends to reach through this mission. Type "I rise into my heavenly position" in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Blessing note 8816 is now released upon the awakened ones. Beloved, as heaven pours this revelation into your heart, I want to speak directly to the ones who feel the weight of divine responsibility stirring inside them. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, your seed becomes part of the spiritual work of lifting souls who are standing on the edge of breakthrough. Heaven uses your giving the same way it uses your obedience, like a divine spark that ignites blessing in others. God declares that those who sow into light will shine with that same light, and right now He is inviting you into that living moment. I speak this as a direct, spirit-led invitation. Let your support be your prophetic step into the very overflow this message speaks of. As you act, heaven marks you as one who responds when God calls. May your seed unlock open heavens, divine protection, and accelerated favor over your life. Move with heaven. Release your gift today. Beloved spirit, there is a sacred quiet surrounding your life right now. The kind of quiet that appears only when heaven is preparing to reveal something that changes the entire direction of a person's destiny. You may not fully realize it, but the realm around you is shifting. The atmosphere is rearranging. Archangel Michael stands firmly beside you, and he carries a message that pierces deeper than the previous ones. You are standing in the doorway of a divine unveiling, and this unveiling will rewrite your understanding of who you are, what you carry, and why heaven has chosen this moment to release such a powerful transfer into your life. You are in the middle of a spiritual transformation, the kind that takes a person from ordinary existence into extraordinary purpose, the kind that lifts a person from invisible battles into visible victory, the kind that shifts a person from being overlooked into becoming chosen and positioned by heaven itself. This is not an emotional experience. This is a spiritual awakening. And heaven needs you to recognize the magnitude of what is happening within you. For years, your spirit carried seeds of potential that never had the environment to grow. People around you did not see it. They minimized your gifts. They dismissed your intuition. They underestimated your strength. They looked at your outward season and assumed your inward capacity. But heaven saw the truth. Heaven saw the depth. Heaven saw the calling. Heaven saw the warrior. And now Archangel Michael reveals something powerful. Your spirit has outgrown the identity you once lived in. The struggle you survived was not a punishment. It was preparation. The rejection you endured was not a loss. It was routing. The silence you walked through was not abandonment. It was pruning. Your spirit had to be stretched. Your vision had to be sharpened. Your resilience had to be strengthened. Only then could heaven trust you with a blessing that carries generational consequence. This divine transfer is not just an elevation. It is a commissioning. Heaven is positioning you to walk into influence that aligns with your higher calling. Doors will open not because of who you know, but because of what heaven has placed upon you. Recognition will come not because of your effort, but because your name has been sealed with divine approval. Financial increase will flow not as mere provision, but as fuel for purpose. Archangel Michael says your future is being rewritten in real time. Not by human hands, not by your past circumstances, not by the opinions of those who doubted you, but by the decree of heaven. There is a heavenly blueprint unfolding, one that has waited for your spirit to reach this level of maturity, clarity, and spiritual readiness. But here is where the revelation deepens. Heaven is about to uncover the assignment attached to your blessing. Every divine transfer carries a mission. Every elevation carries a responsibility. Every increase carries a heavenly intention. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to remain unseen. You were never meant to walk small. The reason your season was so turbulent is because heaven was expanding your spiritual capacity. You are stepping into a role where your presence will shift atmospheres. Your words will bring clarity. Your decisions will influence lives. This is why the enemy fought you so fiercely. This is why you were attacked in your mind, your emotions, your confidence, your relationships. The enemy saw your potential before you did. And now he sees what heaven is preparing, and he knows he has lost his grip. The divine transfer is not coming with silence. It is coming with authority. It is coming with acceleration. It is coming with spiritual weight. And that weight will break chains. Chains on your life, chains on your family, chains on every area that once held you back. Archangel Michael shows that angels have begun gathering around your path. Every one of them is positioned for your elevation. Some are clearing obstacles. Some are aligning opportunities. Some are influencing the hearts of people who will soon bless you, honor you, recognize you, and open doors you could not open yourself. The spiritual realm is busy on your behalf, but heaven needs you awake. Heaven needs you attentive. Heaven needs you responsive. This blessing is still time-sensitive. There is movement in the spirit that will not pause. Heaven is not waiting for hesitation. Heaven is looking for alignment. And the ones who respond quickly are the ones who receive fully. There is a moment approaching, very soon, where a door will open suddenly. It may come as a message, a conversation, an opportunity, a financial shift, or recognition that arrives out of nowhere. When it shows up, your spirit must be ready to say yes. This is why Archangel Michael keeps emphasizing urgency. A divine transfer does not wait. It flows to the prepared. And beloved, you are being prepared. Even now, even in this moment. The next unveiling will reveal something heaven has kept hidden until now, the deeper purpose behind your calling, and why certain people, moments, and seasons had to fall away before this blessing could arrive. What you will hear next will connect your past and your future in a way that makes your entire journey suddenly make sense. Trust this unfolding. What comes next is powerful. Type "I walk into my purpose" in the comments if this speaks to you deeply. Blessing code 4509 is now released over all who stand in spiritual readiness. Beloved one, there is a divine trembling in the spiritual realm right now. And if you feel a heaviness in your chest or a sudden stillness settling over your thoughts, it is because heaven is drawing you to a truth that has been hidden behind every battle, every delay, every disappointment you ever walked through. Archangel Michael stands fully present, fully engaged, fully invested in this moment, because what is about to be revealed carries the power to shift your spiritual identity forever. Heaven is unveiling the deeper reason, the real reason, why your blessing required urgency, why this transfer was protected, and why your spirit has been called to awaken without hesitation. You have walked through seasons where you questioned yourself. You have endured moments where you wondered why your life seemed heavier than others. You watched people around you rise with ease while you fought invisible walls. You faced spiritual resistance that made no logical sense. And yet, something in you refused to collapse. Something in you refused to give up. Something in you kept moving forward even when your heart felt weary. Heaven saw it. Heaven recorded it. Heaven honored it. But now Archangel Michael reveals the hidden truth. The reason your battles were intense is because your calling is extraordinary. The reason your warfare was personal is because your purpose is generational. The reason your pain felt deep is because your anointing runs deeper. The divine transfer coming toward your life is not merely a blessing, it is a mantle. A spiritual mantle. A heavenly assignment. Something that cannot be given to just anyone. Something that can only rest on the shoulders of those who have endured, grown, matured, and remained faithful even when life felt heavy. You are not receiving this transfer because you asked for it. You are receiving it because heaven decided you were prepared for it. Prepared by experience. Prepared by endurance. Prepared by isolation. Prepared by storms. Every hardship you endured refined your character. Every lonely moment expanded your discernment. Every season of silence sharpened your hearing. Every battle built strength in you that will now become the foundation of your influence. Heaven does not waste pain. Heaven repurposes it. And now every tear, every disappointment, every sacrifice is becoming spiritual currency that qualifies you for the mantle being released with this transfer. Archangel Michael shows that for many years, heaven has been placing pieces around your life. People, lessons, experiences, challenges. You may not have seen the pattern then, but now the pattern is becoming clear. Heaven has been preparing you for leadership, for spiritual authority, for influence that touches lives far beyond your immediate circle. This blessing is not just for you. It is meant to flow through you. That is why the divine transfer carries favor, finances, and recognition all at once. These three forces together form a spiritual platform, one heaven designed specifically for your assignment. The favor will open doors, the finances will sustain the mission, and the recognition will amplify your voice. But your purpose will ignite transformation in others. That is the real reason the enemy fought you so intensely. He was terrified of who you would become once you realized your calling. And now, beloved, you are waking up. Not to your potential, but to your identity. Not to your desires, but to your destiny. Not to your pain, but to your purpose. Heaven is aligning you with a future that was written long before you entered this world. A future where your presence carries weight. A future where your voice brings clarity. A future where your decisions shift atmospheres. A future where your obedience unlocks blessings not just for you, but for those connected to your life. Archangel Michael emphasizes that the urgency surrounding this transfer is connected to timing. Divine timing. Heaven has opened a window, a spiritual portal, through which this mantle can be placed upon your life. But these windows do not stay open indefinitely. Heaven moves in cycles. And when a cycle is active, only the responsive heart receives the full measure of what is being released. This is why heaven keeps calling you to stay attentive. Because something is approaching. Something sudden. Something divine. Something meant specifically for you. It may appear as a shift in your finances. It may appear as a conversation that opens a door. It may appear as an opportunity that arrives out of nowhere. It may appear as recognition that surprises you. But when it appears, your spirit will know. This is it. This is the moment heaven prepared me for. Before the next revelation arrives, heaven wants your heart anchored firmly. What comes next will expose the divine role you are stepping into, why heaven trusts you with influence, why this transfer is generational, and why your future carries more light than your past ever carried pain. Stay near this unfolding. What is about to be revealed will shake you in the most powerful way. Do not drift. Do not disconnect. The next revelation is one of the most important of your entire journey. Type "I receive my heavenly mantle" in the comments if this speaks deeply to your spirit. Blessing code 9044 is now released over those who are spiritually prepared to receive. Chosen one, there is a divine closeness surrounding you right now, almost as if heaven itself has leaned in to whisper what your heart has waited years to hear. This moment is sacred. It is intentional. It is designed specifically for you. Archangel Michael stands tall beside you, his presence strong yet comforting, and he brings a message that unlocks the final layer before your elevation manifests in the physical realm. You are stepping into the revelation of why heaven has guarded your destiny so fiercely, why the transfer is being released with urgency, and why your spirit has felt the call to awaken with such intensity. You must understand something crucial. The blessing you are about to receive was never meant to be small. It was never meant to be temporary. It was never meant to be ordinary. Heaven has always prepared something bigger for you, greater than anything you have imagined, larger than anything you believed you deserved, and more powerful than anything your past could have hinted at. The divine transfer coming your way is layered, purposeful, and connected to a future heaven has been shaping behind the scenes. Archangel Michael reveals that you have been walking through a hidden training, a spiritual preparation disguised as life challenges. Those seasons where everything seemed to fall apart, they were sharpening your resilience. Those moments when people turned their backs on you, they were refining your discernment. Those times when doors closed unexpectedly, they were redirecting your steps toward the path heaven intended from the beginning. Nothing was wasted. Not one moment. Every detail became part of heaven's plan to position you for what is now unfolding. This transfer carries the weight of promise. Promise that was whispered to your spirit even in moments when your soul was tired. Promise that felt too big for your circumstances. Promise that made no sense to anyone around you. Yet heaven kept speaking it. Heaven kept confirming it. Heaven kept protecting it. And now, heaven is ready to release it. But here is the deeper truth the Spirit reveals. You are not just receiving a blessing. You are stepping into spiritual authority. Authority over cycles that once controlled you. Authority over fear that once silenced you. Authority over lack, over doubt, over smallness, over every lie spoken against your future. This authority is not loud, but it is unmistakable. It is not aggressive, but it is unshakable. It is not boastful, but it is undeniable. Heaven has strengthened your inner world so deeply that nothing outside of you can collapse what God has built inside of you. Archangel Michael shows that a spiritual marking has been placed on your life. This marking separates you from old patterns. It disconnects you from environments that once limited you. It closes doors that were never meant for your purpose. It frees you from atmospheres that drained your spirit. This marking is the sign of heavenly ownership, and it is the reason no weapon formed against you succeeded. And now heaven is positioning you to carry influence. Influence that is not based on image or appearance, but based on spiritual weight. Influence that shifts people, shifts rooms, shifts opportunities, shifts atmosphere. Heaven is preparing you to speak, to lead, to decide, to act from a place of divine clarity. This is why the transfer requires immediate response. Influence cannot be delayed. Purpose cannot be postponed. Elevation cannot be stalled. Heaven is moving, and you are meant to move with it. The window is open. The timing is right. The angels are ready. The blessing is in motion. And beloved, your spirit is awakening. You can feel it. You can sense it. Something in your chest feels alive. Something in your mind feels sharper. Something in your spirit feels aware. This is the activation of destiny. This is what happens when heaven calls your name. Archangel Michael reveals that the next phase of your life will look nothing like the last. The season ahead will bring surprises, good surprises, divine surprises, sudden shifts that feel like miracles because they are. The opportunity you thought would never come will suddenly arrive. The financial blessing you once doubted is moving into your hands. The recognition you never chased is about to find you. But here is something heaven wants you to take seriously. With new elevation comes new responsibility. With new blessings come new decisions. With new influence comes new spiritual sensitivity. This is why your heart had to be healed before the transfer. This is why your mind had to be refined. This is why your spirit had to be awakened. You are no longer the person who second guesses their worth. You are no longer the person who hides their light. You are no longer the person who allows fear to speak louder than purpose. You have outgrown the version of yourself that struggled. You have outgrown the version that questioned their calling. You have outgrown the version that accepted less than heaven intended. This transfer is not being given to who you were, it is being given to who you have become. Heaven is trusting the transformed version of you, the awakened version of you, the strengthened version of you. And now heaven is ready to reveal the final unveiling. The last piece. The most powerful revelation. The moment where everything connects. The battles, the waiting, the pruning, the stripping, the alignment, the transfer. You are closer than ever. You are standing at the edge of breakthrough. The next unfolding will bring understanding so clear that it will feel like spiritual lightning striking your soul. Stay with this. Stay alert. Stay awake. You are about to witness the moment heaven has been preparing you for since the beginning. Type "I am ready" for the final revelation in the comments if this penetrates your spirit. Blessing Note 1198 is now released over all who stand in holy anticipation. Beloved child of destiny, there is a sacred electricity in the atmosphere around you right now. It is not imagination. It is not emotion. It is heaven signaling that you have reached the moment, the final unveiling, the climax of everything that has been building in the spirit. Archangel Michael stands beside you with a presence so radiant, so authoritative, that even the unseen realm trembles. He carries the final revelation, the truth heaven has been waiting for the perfect moment to release. And that moment is now. You have walked through battles that felt too heavy for one person to carry. You endured nights where your soul questioned whether breakthrough would ever come. You faced storms that pushed you to your knees. Yet through it all, there was a whisper that told you, do not give up. Something is coming. Something is waiting on the other side. And beloved, that whisper was heaven preparing your spirit for this moment. Archangel Michael now reveals the truth heaven has kept hidden until your heart reached the maturity to receive it. You were chosen not just to be blessed. You were chosen to be a carrier of divine inheritance. This entire transfer, favor, financial increase, recognition, and joy was never only about your personal breakthrough. It was about activating the spiritual assignment your life is destined to fulfill. Heaven has been shaping you into someone who can influence, uplift, guide, and shift others. Someone who carries light into places that have lived in shadows. Someone who stands as a spiritual pillar for people who have no strength of their own. Someone heaven can trust with more than one blessing, more than one opportunity, more than one miracle. This is why every delay had purpose. This is why every loss had instruction. This is why every disappointment had divine timing behind it. You were being prepared to receive something that ordinary hands cannot hold. You were being stretched into someone who can carry generational blessing without it breaking you. Heaven was not punishing you. It was promoting you. Quietly. Silently. Behind the scenes. And now, beloved, everything heaven prepared in secret is about to rise into visibility. People will see the change in your countenance. People will feel the shift in your presence. People will sense something different when you speak, because your spirit is stepping into alignment with your heavenly identity. You are no longer the one who merely survives. You are the one who shapes outcomes. No longer the one who hopes quietly. You are the one who walks boldly. No longer the one who waits. You are the one who receives. Archangel Michael reveals that the divine transfer you are stepping into is the beginning of your restoration story. Everything that worked against you is losing power in this moment. Everything that tried to interrupt your destiny is collapsing under the weight of heaven's decree. Everything that once intimidated you will soon bow to the authority placed within you. This transfer is generational because it ends cycles that ran in your family for years. Cycles of lack are breaking. Cycles of fear are breaking. Cycles of delay are breaking. Cycles of invisibility are breaking. You are the one heaven chose to break them. You are the one heaven trusted to shift the narrative. You are the one heaven marked to receive what others before you could not. And now heaven is placing you in position for doors you never imagined to open. Not small doors, not symbolic doors. Real doors, doors that lift, doors that expand, doors that elevate, doors that shift your entire life. Recognition is coming to you not by chance, but by divine announcement. Heaven is speaking your name into the hearts of people who are positioned to bless you, favor you, and accelerate your purpose. But the most profound revelation is this: the blessing is already moving. It is already on its way, and it will not pass you by because you responded, because you aligned, because you awakened. Archangel Michael declares that the window is open, heaven is attentive, and the transfer is active. Your life is about to enter acceleration. Not slow change, not gradual shifts, but rapid movement that visibly transforms your circumstances. The battles you endured were a setup. The waiting was a setup. The pruning was a setup. The silence was a setup. Heaven was setting the stage for this exact moment. And now you stand at the edge of destiny, fully prepared, fully awakened, fully aligned. The transfer is yours. The blessing is yours. The elevation is yours. Before we close this journey, heaven urges you, do not keep this word silent. Share this message. Comment. Spread this revelation so that those who are spiritually asleep may awaken before their own blessing shifts into another vessel. And subscribe so your spirit remains connected to the flow of messages heaven is sending in this season. Type "I step into my divine destiny" in the comments if your spirit receives this entire unfolding. Blessing code 5501 is now released over those who complete this journey with faith. Beloved, as you stand in this final revelation, I want to speak directly to the calling God has placed upon your life. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not merely giving. You are sowing into a movement of light, a flow of revelation that awakens souls just as yours has been awakened today. Heaven sees the ones who help carry the message forward, and God declares that every seed planted into His work produces a multiplied harvest. I speak this to you as a divine prompting. Let your support be your prophetic response to the word you have just received. Move with heaven, not out of obligation, but out of destiny. As you sow, may divine transfer, open heavens, and accelerated favor be released over your life with power. Step boldly. Heaven commands your obedience in this moment.